Hey there. I hope you are having a fantastic day so far. I just wanted to drop in really quickly because today is July 1st. And let's see. All right. So just wanted to jump in really quickly because today's July 1st. And this is the official start of the second half of 2025. And I know that you probably have a bunch of goals and things that you want to achieve this year. And I want to put on your mind some things that you may want to think about as it relates to continually making progress towards achieving your goals for this year. Because let's face it, things change. You may have set out to do some things on January 1 that you may not have even started on by this time in the year. And so you have to ask yourself some questions around whether or not what you were planning to do on January 1, whether or not those things are still important to you right now. And if they are still important to you, what changes or what shifts do you need to make in order to be able to fulfill the things that you were planning to do for this year? So you may have seen videos that I've done in the past. I'm not really a New Year's resolution person, but I am someone who likes to identify priorities and objectives for the year, things that you can work on and work towards and continually build as the year goes on. So, as you are aware, or hopefully you are aware, I do have the Power and Position Rewrite Your Career narrative that is coming up in just a handful of weeks. So it'll be on July 19th in Pearland, Texas. And so if you want to attend, I will definitely drop the link in the comments so that you can register to attend this event. It's going to be powerful. It's going to be impactful for those who are really immersed and engaged in what I'm going to be sharing. You're going to definitely get something out of it that you can implement. But when we think about power, the reason why I brought that up is because I want you to think about your power. I want you to think about what you have control over and what you have power over, because there are some things that you are in control of. So sometimes we want to give our control away and so on. So before I get to where I'm asking you the questions that may cause you to determine that you need to make a pivot on your plans for this year or how you approach your plans for this year, I want to first level set on things that are in your control, areas in which you have power. So the first thing that I'm going to say, you have power from a self-leadership standpoint. You have power on how you lead yourself. You have power about your own, you have power around your own behavior and the things that you do. So that's the first area of power that you have. The other area of power, so there are 5 areas of power that I'm going to just share with you really quickly. So the first is your self leadership, how you handle and control yourself. So you have power in that space. You have power in whatever position that you're in. So um, whether you are a parent, whether you are an employee, or even if you are an employer, so you have your own business, you have power that is associated with the position that you are in. People expect certain things from you based on your knowledge, skills, abilities, capabilities, and so on. And responsibilities. So you have power based on your particular position and the influence that you have in that space. The next thing that you have power over are your projects, whatever you have responsibility over. So whether you set resolutions at the beginning of the year or whether you set goals, objectives, or priorities for this year, you have power over what you can control as it relates to your projects and the things that you're working towards in that space. So that's the third thing. The fourth area that you have power is over the relationships that you are in. So you don't necessarily have power over the other person in your relationships, but you have power over the types of relationships that you choose to have. Do you have the right relationships in place in order to help you to achieve the things that you want to achieve this year? And then the final area from a power perspective that you have power and control over, that is your knowledge. You have power over your knowledge, the knowledge that you gain and the way you use the knowledge that you have. So as you're continually um, getting educated, and as you have been educated, whether it's formal education, informal education, whether it's by way of doing, however you have gained knowledge, what are you doing with that knowledge? You have power over that as it relates. Well, you have power over that, but drawn back to the space of the power that you have as it relates to you achieving the things that you want to achieve this year. So, just as a quick recap, rather, of the power that you have as we're thinking about you achieving the things in 2025 that you want to achieve, that is your self leadership, the power that you have as it relates to how you handle yourself, your positional power, and that's looking at the roles and positions that you have in life. And then you have your project power, the power that you have over the things that you have committed to doing. You have power over the types of relationships that you are going to have, and how those relationships work out. So if there are things that you need to do in those relationships that you need to make better, then you have power over what you do in those relationships. And then the fifth thing is your knowledge power. How are you using your knowledge? So all of those things in collection that you have can help you progress towards achieving the goals that you have set for yourself. So here are the 5 questions that I want you to ask yourself, because this is mid-year. This is a great time. This is the beginning of mid-year. So this is a great time for you to determine whether or not you need a mid-year reset, because you have power over that too, determining whether or not you're on track, off track, or you're just a little bit wobbly. So the first question I want you to ask yourself is, what do I need to start doing? What do I need to start doing? So as you are thinking about the goals and objectives, and if you set resolutions, thinking about your resolutions, so whatever it may be, what is it that you need to do in order, or what is it that you need to start doing in order to make sure that you achieve those things? So do an assessment. Where are you right now in achieving those things? And if there are some things, and if things are not going the way you want them to go, then what do you need to start doing in order for things to start going in the direction that you want them to go? So that's the first question. What do you need to start doing? On the flip side of that, the second question is, what do you need to stop doing? So when you're thinking about the progress that you're making in your, the progress that you're making towards achieving your goals, objectives, priorities, resolutions, whatever it may be, what are the things that are getting in the way of you being able to have, or to make 2025 to be a successful year for you? So what are those things that you need to stop doing? They're getting in your way. It could be behaviors that you have. It could be habits that you have. It could be the way you are approaching your work. There are a lot of things that could be getting in the way that you need to stop doing. One of the ways in which you can determine what it is that you need to stop doing is to seek feedback. You can seek feedback from trusted advisors in order to determine what might be some things that you're doing that you need to stop doing. So we all have blind spots, okay? So we all have blind spots. So what could potentially be some blind spots that you have that you need to stop doing? And the only way that you're going to be able to connect to those blind spots is getting feedback from someone else. So that's a start doing. If you're not getting feedback, you could potentially just start asking for feedback. so that you know what you need to stop doing. But really, you want to identify what are those things that you need to stop doing that are getting in the way of you being able to achieve what it is that you desire to achieve. So that's question number 2. What do I need to stop doing? Question number 3. What do I need to continue to do? So this is thinking about what are those things that you are doing and you do really well, and those things are helping you to steadily progress towards achieving your goals. These are the things that you want to continue to do. These are the things you want to continue to prioritize in your processes, in your behavior, in your habits. So, what are those things that you need to continue to do? Those are the things that are helping you to get closer to your goal achievement. The fourth question, I had some popcorn earlier today, so that was bugging me a little bit. But the fourth thing for you, or the fourth question for you to ask yourself are, what are the things that I need to do more of? And this is really akin to what is it that you need to continue doing. But the difference between the two is that what do you need to do more of is in relation to maybe there are some things that you do really well that are helpful and beneficial to you, but you don't do them often enough. So you do them sporadically. So think about what are those things that you are doing that are helping you to achieve your goals, and you do them really well, but you don't make the time to do them as often as you should. So, say for instance, listening to podcasts or reading or going for walks because you think more clearly when you go for walks. Just think about the things that you do that when you do them, you get the results that you desire. But for whatever reason, you're not doing those things as often as you should. So, how can you pull those things out and be able to do those things more? So, fourth question, what do you need to do more of? The fifth question is to ask yourself, so this is on the flip side. The fifth question is to ask yourself, what do I need to do less of? What do I need to do less of? So when thinking about the less of, it's very akin again to what do you need to stop doing. But the to do less of may not mean that you need to completely stop. So that's the difference between the stopping and the doing less of. So when you are thinking about what are the things that I need to do less of, this is really thinking about what are the things that are distractions for me that I do too often. What are the distractions for me that I do too often? And once you land on what those are, then determine how are you going to pull back from those things in order to make sure that you're making space for the things that you need to do more consistently. So as you're thinking about, as you are thinking about what it is that you need to do less of, is really evaluating how you are spending your time. What are the things, those time wasters, those little sneaky things that are sucking up your time and keeping you from being able to do the things that you know that you need to do. So just as a quick recap of the questions that you need to ask yourself during this mid-year reset are, what do I need to start doing? What do I need to stop doing? What do I need to continue doing? What do I need to do more of? What do I need to do less of? So those 5 questions can help you to determine what your next steps are as you move forward further into the second half of 2025 so that you can continue to thrive or get yourself on pace so that you can thrive for the remainder of this year and continue on during that journey. The other thing, here's a bonus question for you. The other thing that I want you to think about, and this is from a perspective of making sure that you are staying on top of the things that you need to stay on top of. So you may have set goals, whether it's your own personal development goals that you set, or maybe these are professional development goals that you set, or maybe these are goals related to something that's going on in your career. As an HR professional who has been in corporate environments for over 15 years, one of the things that I know about being in the workforce, well, I know a lot of things about being in the workforce, but one of those things is that things change. Your department priorities change, the organization's priorities change, things change. So when you're thinking about the things that you're working on from a work perspective, you need to make sure you connect with your manager to make sure that the things that you are working on or that you have been working on this year are still relevant for the remainder of this year. So one of the things that you don't want to have happen at the end of the year when you are putting together your feedback and your self-assessments is that you have been spending time working on things that are no longer a priority for your organization or for your team or in your role. You want to make sure that you align or realign to what is important to your organization. You do not want to be working on things that are of no value. The same is when it comes to your own personal and professional development. There are so many changes that are happening in the work environment that you need to make sure that those personal and professional development goals that you have for yourself are still aligned to what's important in your industry and in your career field. So also, as you're thinking about this mid-year reset, is think about, is the work that I'm doing still relevant? Is the work that I'm doing still relevant? So actually, maybe you should start there. Ask yourself, is what I'm doing, what I'm aiming for, what I'm wanting to achieve, is it still relevant? And then go through the exercise of what do I need to start doing? What do I need to stop doing? What do I need to continue doing? What do I need to do more of? What do I need to do less of? So with that being said, I want to just remind you again that the Power in Position Rewrite Your Career Narrative event is coming up on July 19th. And I will be going through more information that will help you to be able to use your power effectively so that you can be properly positioned to achieve the things or to make progress towards achieving the things that you desire to achieve. Sometimes we all need a little bit of help to get us going in the right direction. We need someone to help us to be able to identify the things that we need to start doing, stop doing, continue doing, and so on. Because we all have those blind spots and we have things that are unknown to us as well. So we need someone to reveal those things to us. And I believe that by you attending the Power in Position Rewrite Your Career Narrative, that you will gain some insights that you can implement that will help you as you move forward, not only in your 2025 priorities and objectives and goals, but that will help you as you travel and navigate your career journey. So check the comments for the link. And if you have any questions, just let me know. But also let me know which of those 5 questions resonate most with you. I would love to hear what you have to say. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Take care, y'all. Bye.